Hey guys, it's Clay. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to kind of a special video. This is a video response to Mr. Fisher Bike. He sent out a contest. He wanted to see everyone's favorite 10 vintage cards. He's apparently getting kind of deep into the whole vintage collection, and he and I are very similar in that way. I didn't always collect vintage cards. In fact, I only really gotten back into the hobby for the past maybe 4 years, and really started off with the ultra modern. That really blew up, and then the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to kind of diversify my collection, move on to focusing on vintage cards while still keeping up my ultra modern collection. But in the process, I've come across a bunch of Grail cards that cards I really wanted, have been looking at for quite a while, and some I've actually been able to obtain. So super stoked about that. So let me start off with number 10. This card is pretty special, especially to folks in the Boston area. This is a Tony Conigliaro rookie card. Now, I actually made some notes, and if you bear with me, I'll go over them, because he was a very special player whose career was tragically cut short by an on-field mishap. So Tony Conigliaro was a Massachusetts native signed to his hometown team of the Boston Red Sox, which of course is any boy's dream, right? In his first 3 seasons as a major leaguer, listen to this, he hit .273 with 84 homers and 227 RBIs, which is incredible. And he led the league with 32 home runs in 1965. He's the youngest player in AL history to get to 100 home runs. His closest comp, which was listed in this page I read, his closest comp at 21 was a 22-year-old Mickey Mantle. The guy was absolutely tearing the league up. Unfortunately, it all came to an end on August 18th, 1967, when he was beamed in the head. Helmets back then, if you followed the history of batting helmets, they used to not wear helmets at all, and then they moved to a helmet that didn't have an ear flap, and then finally they put the ear flaps on. But unfortunately, he was hit with a fastball right to the cheekbone, which was not protected, shattering it into a bunch of pieces, and of course damaging his left retina. So needless to say, he missed the rest of that season, 1967 season, missed the entire 1968 season. Tried to come back in 69 and didn't do too bad, but obviously his altered eyesight kept him from reaching the numbers that he could have. As his eyesight began to deteriorate, his performance, of course, deteriorated as well. Ended up getting traded to the Angels for a spell, which ironically was the team he was playing when he got hit. And of course, things from there went from bad to worse. At the age of 37, suffered a massive heart attack on his way to the airport. Followed up with a massive stroke. Put him in a coma for 8 years until his death at the age of 45. Now I'm 46, and just to think that all this could happen to someone with such a bright future is just unbelievable. In his honor, the Tony Conigliaro Award is given each year to the player who overcomes adversity to return to the league. Probably the most notable recent person to receive this award is Trey Mancini. So anyway, that's my number 10 card. I promise not every card's going to get this much verbiage, but I thought I'd share that in case people just aren't really familiar with him. He's not a big name in the collecting world. So Tony Conigliaro, he's number 10 for me. My number 9 card is probably my favorite vintage player. It's a beautiful 1957 Ernie Banks. I don't know why, I just freaking brain farted on his name. Oh, he's my favorite. What's his name? Yeah, anyway, I love this card just because his first three cards are fine. The 55 and the 56 both have like almost matching images for his, front profile. But this one's an actual photo, and it's him in action, ready, kind of in his stance, ready to hit the ball. I just love this card. It's a great looking card, very simple design, white borders with a great picture of him getting ready to knock one over the Ivy fence. So, love that card. It's my number 9. Number 8, I like this one just a little bit more. I picked this up at a card shop in, I want to say Danbury, Connecticut. Yeah, so it's my first like playing years DiMaggio. And I've always respected him, of course, for his 56 game streak. I respect the Yankees. I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Cubs fan, but I respect their history and their organization. And I really love like the classic Yankees. I like Mantle to a degree. I really like DiMaggio. Really like Babe Ruth, and really like Gehrig. And you'll see cards from them. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I like this one. I didn't think it was going to grade. I actually sent this one off for grading. Didn't think it was going to grade very high, and it didn't. But 1.5 is not bad. It could have been as bad as a 1, just looking at the back. But and say what you will about these exhibits, they're not hugely collectible. They're not as expensive as their other kind of playing year cards, but I always like them. So I got one at Melot as well, but it didn't make my top 10. So there we go. Joe DiMaggio, number 8. Number 7 is my only non-baseball card. And again, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And this guy is an absolute legend. Also died way too young. I think he was just in his 30s when he died of a heart attack. Playing basketball. Right after saying, this is just a paraphrasing, but he said, "Oh, I feel better than I've ever felt." Just like, and just a few minutes later, he dies. I've been in the cardiac cath business for a couple decades, so I could tell you he had just one coronary artery and coming off of his aorta, and once that becomes blocked, he was pretty much doomed. There's just no surviving that. There's no way you can get it opened and fast to save all that heart muscle. It's just impossible. So Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, absolute legend in Louisiana and in a lot of basketball circles. So great guy. Unfortunately, left us way too early. This is his rookie card, 1970 Topps. So there you go. My number 7. My number 6 is this beauty. Always loved Reggie Jackson. Loved the guys that can hit long balls, and he definitely was one of those guys. This is actually hard signed by him, and I had sent it off to PSA to get it authenticated. It was already authenticated by another company, but it wasn't slabbed, and I just wanted to protect it. Really cool card. Great rookie card, and this has always been in my top 10 of favorite cards ever. So, of course, it's going to be in my top 10 vintage. So, Reggie Jackson, 1969 rookie card. And that is the bottom 5. The top 5 start with who else but Babe Ruth. This one's got a nice little story too. It's the Sanella bread one. So it was produced in Germany, as you can see, with all the nice classic German script, the font they use in Germany, which is very popular there. 1932, so it actually supersedes his 33 Gaudi, which is probably his most popular card. What else? I actually bought it on eBay off of this guy from Germany. He's just lived a few towns over where they actually produced this, so it's actually got it for a decent price that way. Sent it in for grading and got a 2.5. It doesn't look like a 2.5, but if you look, I don't know if the light will catch it right. There's a little wrinkle down there that keeps it from being a 4. I thought it would be a 4, maybe even better, but I guess I didn't appreciate that wrinkle enough. But the rest of the card's just beautiful. The back, you have to worry about these because these were usually glued, affixed to the sports book that you had to fill out when you were like a little German kid back in the early 30s. So it was, you know, Babe Ruth and all these other, like maybe Max Schmeling and all those other German people. But yeah, to get one that hasn't been previously glued to something is pretty rare, I would say. And this is just a type 2. There are 3 types. This is the most common of the 3 types. But it's a great card, and it's a playing years Babe Ruth, and it's relatively affordable for that. So yeah, that's my number 5. My number 4 is another Louisiana native who is a Hall of Famer, and it is Mel Ott. Now, I, for the longest time, been trying to hunt this card down at the right price, and was able to find this 1.5, and it's doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really present as a 1.5. The corner down here is probably the roughest. There is a little something going on here, but the rest of the card just looks wonderful to me. It's well centered. The back is okay. It's not in any kind of bad shape, but yeah. Big on collecting Mel Ott. If anyone wants to send me any offers, if let's say you're a big Mel Ott collector and you're trying to offload some Mel Otts, I'm always down, because he is, again, another Louisiana legend. Again, died way too young, just shortly after he retired. So, as well as Babe Ruth. Gosh, a lot of these guys died young. Who didn't die young? This guy's still alive. He lived to a good old age, and so did Ernie. All right, maybe not the whole list, but there you go. Mel Ott is my number 4. Another interesting guy who is a Cub is probably my oldest card, which is this 1910 Sovereign Cigarettes, which is one of the rarer backs. Not the rarest or the most collectible, but it's definitely rarer than like the Caporal or the Polar Bear. They're actually rarer than those guys. But it's his 1910 T206 of Mordecai, 3-finger brown. I didn't put down notes for him, but he lost a couple fingers when he was young to, you know, working as kids did back then. But the great thing about it, well, he tried to be a Mason, right? And then they would not let him in because of his injury, so he started playing baseball. And the way his fingers were configured from this accident actually allowed him to have a devastating curveball, and so he just killed it for them. Actually, I think he led the Cubs to their last World Series before 2016, which is pretty long distance between World Championships. But yeah, again, Mordecai 3-finger brown, one of my absolute favorite cards. Oops, I'd have to put this away. Only 2 cards left. Sorry if this video is a little long. But you know, this guy was going to have to be in it. This is his, my boy Ernie Banks' rookie card. Actually bought this at a really good price because whenever I bought it, it was just A for authentic. I wasn't sure why it got an A. It's in really decent shape. There's no major creasing. There's no major, you know, paper loss. The corners, they could be better, but they're not terrible. I think the main thing that, I don't know why it got an A, but the main thing is I think maybe they thought the top was trimmed, but I think it's just because it's just off cut quite a bit. So, you know, I said, you know, I'll give it a chance. I'll just send it back in and see if they give it an actual number grade. Came back as a 1.5, so I was ecstatic. Of course, there's a video for that. But yeah, so yeah, number 2 is my Ernie Banks 1954 rookie card. The only 2-time MVP winner for the Chicago Cubs. Won it back-to-back, 1958-59. And of course, my number 1 is probably it's my most recent vintage pickup from just a month or 2 ago. and actually had to send in quite a bit of money and had to trade in quite a few valuable cards to get it. But it is 1933 Goudey, Lou Gehrig in a 1. Again, it's not in the greatest of shape, but it presents really well. The back is absolutely torn to hell, but I'm not presenting the back, I'm just presenting the front. And absolutely love this card. Always been a big fan of Gehrig. You know, his whole history, his dignity, of course, his ability to play baseball. Just love this card. I've been wanting to get it, and I just saw an opportunity, saw a window to get it, and I got it, and I couldn't be happier. Now, it's number 1, probably, you know, just my recency bias, just because it's just so new to me, and I'm just so astounded to have it. But yeah, it's going to take something really special to eclipse this card. But again, that's my top 10, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. It may not be the most impressive top 10, but I've got some decent cards in here that I'm really happy I got, and I don't think any one of these cards are going to be leaving my collection anytime soon. So really happy to have them. Mr. Fisher Bike, I hope you enjoyed watching it, and good luck with your collection. Everyone who watched, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.